Hey there, Ryan Kingsline here, founder of UArtsy. And one of the things I love doing the most is unlocking the artist inside of you and walking you through some of the journey that I've experienced. And I've worked with thousands of students at UArtsy and some of the other academies that we have. It's always a joy to see that spark, that moment when somebody feels like they can be an artist and that they might just make it. I love that. And so what I want to talk about today is confidence. And this is really kind of, I think it's the third conversation, depending on how all of it works, but this is probably the third conversation we've had on confidence. The idea behind this is, how do we become confident as artists? And really, it all comes down to one scenario. One scenario. Imagine right now that you create work that you're happy with, and you wake up the next day and you're still happy with it. That's all this is. How do you do that? Because for some of us, that's not so easy. I've certainly been there where I just was not happy with anything that I did. I wasn't happy with anything I created, and I lived in that space for a long time. So long I called it Valley of the Suck, where you walk through and just hate everything. And I know hate's a strong word, but if you've been there, you know it's not strong enough. The feeling is horrible. It can be horrible. But I've learned that this idea, the Valley of the Suck, where everything you do just has to walk through this valley of the suck. I learned that sometimes we're actually not in that valley of the suck. This happened really recently with a student, a friend of mine, who was emailing me, telling me he's really stuck and really he's just not happy. He can't produce anything that he really enjoys. So he was telling me this long list of things that he'd been doing. You know, all right, I'm trying to, sculpt in ZBrush, I'm trying to draw, I'm trying to figure out all these things. I just don't know what I should be doing. And so I kind of clued in on that last part. I was like, well, in my own experience, when I didn't know what I should be doing, it wasn't a big problem. But when I thought I should be doing something else, and I just didn't want to do that, then I went to war with myself. So I asked him a simple question, and I said, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to create? And so he wrote me back even longer. Well, I'm thinking about games, so maybe I've got to do this stuff. I've got to create some characters. And then I was thinking, well, if I go into film, then maybe I got to create this kind of portfolio, and I had to do all these different pieces and all this different stuff. And it was this long angst-ridden list of things that I kind of got he didn't want to do. So I said, hey, notice, you actually did not answer that question. You gave me a long list of things you should be doing. Answer the question, please. And how about you? Is this something that matches your experience? If I was to ask you right now, what do you want to create? Would you give me a laundry list of things that you should? Or would you be able to tell me what you want to create? Sometimes we're hating what we do, we're unhappy with the work we do, we feel like we're not really an artist because, we're forcing ourselves to live in somebody else's shoes. We're forcing ourselves to live by somebody else's standard. We're putting ourselves in prison and then saying, hey, why aren't you happy with that prison? We're putting ourselves in a box, in chains. In order for me to be an artist, I have to draw a perfect circle. In order for me to be an artist, people have to like what I do. In order for me to be an artist, I have to make a difference in the universe. It's a great goal, but it's a prison. What if the work you do doesn't make a difference in the universe? Are you unhappy? Right? You might eventually make a difference, but if you're unhappy now and you stop, what difference are you going to make? All of these rules start to create this prison that we can live in. And you can live in that prison for years and become happy or sad and resigned to that life and think that that life is the only thing that you really deserve, right? Because I don't know how to draw a perfect circle, so I deserve this kind of frustration. But that is BS. Unless you can answer me, what do you want to create? And unless you are creating what you want to create, then all the rest of that stuff is irrelevant because you're in prison. So why imprison yourself? Why not take a moment right now and say, what do you want to create? I want to create, finish the sentence. I want to create, finish that sentence. Finish it. You can finish that. You're already finishing it. As I'm talking, your brain is already saying, yeah, and you're already envisioning things. The brain's a beautiful thing. You give it this sentence and it goes to work. Because its job is to get things done. So make it work for you. Give it these sentences. Give it these problems to solve. It loves to solve problems. So he writes back, oh, you're right. And then again, a laundry list of stuff. Well, I don't know what I could do. I should have done this and that. And I mean, it's a long email. I write back again. Dude, answer the freaking question. And then finally he got it. And he writes me back, he's like, Ryan, yeah. You know, if I was to say, because I don't know what I'm supposed to create, I don't know, right? But if I was to say what I wanted to create, well then I'd like to create mech sci-fi character stuff. That's what he said, right? A large part of people I talk to come from ZBrush world and character world and games. And so this is what he was saying. I want to create mech character stuff. And so I was like, okay, so now your work is create mech character stuff with one extra caveat. Don't look at anybody else's work. Don't judge the work. Get in there, pull yourself away from the internet, get in there and create. Your job is to create. He emailed me I think it was 1 o'clock at night. He's like, dude, I'm gonna sleep so well today. I finally was able to get in and start to produce something that I was happy with, right? And that's beautiful. That's exactly what that's what I love doing this for. Because a lot of times we lock these things, we lock ourselves outside of what we really want to do. And see, now tomorrow when he wakes up, the challenge is going to be, does he still like it? Because 9 times out of 10, the forces are going to align and they're going to be critical of it. Because the universe isn't necessarily our friend. The universe isn't going to just give us joy, joy, joy. We've got to make that joy, take that joy, build that joy. If you build that joy, you can build a resonance to keep the noise out. But the forces are out there to start to destroy that part of you. If you let them. If you let that negativity, that mismatching and all of that dominate, then it will take over. So the challenge my friend has is the next morning he needs to decide whether or not he still likes it and what he can do to continue to like it, to continue to bring, joy in himself when he creates. So the key element, don't judge. Fortify that art studio of the heart. Okay? Make sure that you are producing stuff that you want to produce. And then in the next morning when you wake up, give it a kiss on the forehead. And that's not a joke. When you look at it the next morning, you want to make sure that you are using positive language, that you are forcing yourself to use positive language, and that you are building that momentum. This is yours. It's your child. It's your work. It doesn't deserve to be judged by other people. It doesn't deserve for you to judge it. Your work deserves for you to love it. And if you love it, it will return that love. And the more work you do, it will build that stronger and stronger inside you. So we need to learn how to do that. But a large part of it all comes down to, what do I want to create? And am I forcing myself into somebody else's shoes? Am I creating a prison that I think I should live in order to be an artist, or in order for me to feel like I'm an artist? So your job right now, your homework in this assignment is to answer that question. What do I want to create? What do I want to do? And then your second assignment, optional, is to look at the way you do things now. And if you are putting yourself in prison, in somebody else's shoes, whose shoes are they? Whose shoes do you think you have to live in order for you to see yourself as an artist? And ask yourself, do you really want to keep doing that to yourself? Do you really want to keep forcing yourself into that prison? And if not, today's the day. What do you want to create? Get in there make it happen. All right, take care. Talk soon.